morning everyone, it's Rachel here and we are working on Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I'll just show you, well, we've seen my boxes, but here they are. They do close. Some were concerned that they might not close, but they have no issues with closing. There we go. And so this is going on top of this box, so you can see little bits showing through, which is good. And I am going to have that hang over because I think it's really pretty with that. It's kind of frou for me, but I do really like it, so that's how it's going to be. That's going to go over there. Okay, so all I've done is just done overcast stitching and running stitch to stitch my pieces together so they're not going anywhere. I've been umming and ahhing and procrastinating with this one. The other one had this beautiful embroidery that's going to go on there, but I haven't decided. I am really struggling with this project. I don't know why, because I really love doing this part of it, but with the embroidery, I think it's because it's a different substrate. So it's kind of like, how do I want to have it look? I don't really know, and so it's making me crazy. I'm feeling like a crazy woman. So anyway, this one is like this, and I'm still not 100% about what's going to happen with it because I love all of that. Kind of don't want to cover all of that. But anyway, I did have a lovely piece of fabric that had this beautiful flower on it. I thought I might do some thread painting with that. I'm not quite sure about the positioning of it. Do I want, and I've got a row of things up there, so I think I kind of want to bring it down a little bit, maybe something like that. Got a little catching bit on my nail. I can't stand that. I have this little piece of my ephemera printed on some linen, and I could use a bit of that. So let's just trim. I think these are my scissors that are going a bit bodgy, the older ones. Oh, they're still going. So how is everyone today? I hope you're well. I'm a bit late getting my video done today because normally I would have had it done by now. I had to go and pick up Lulu from school. She's not sick, she just got a bit stressed at school, and so I occasionally get these messages, Mum, I need to come home. I thought something dastardly had happened, but not really. So do I like that there? I could trim it down, have a smaller piece, just a strip could be better. Let's see, I like that better. Would I like, I've got a bit of a space up there, not that you can't have spaces, but I think I might. It's too much like that, so I don't like that. But what about if I make it bigger? It's not gonna, it's gonna be the same deal. No, too blocky. Yeah, isn't that funny how that happens? I could have it there. Don't mind it there. Up a bit higher. This is my process. Audition, step away if it's not working. I don't mind that. Or do I prefer the strip over there? I think I prefer the strip over there. I'll do some sort of stitching there. I'm going to cut it. There we go. And I'll use the bit with more writing on it, and I'm going to have that. Might leave that little gap there. Let's just see. I don't like that, but I have this. No. That. No. So I can't have that gap there. I need to have that going there. I need to do something here, but anyway, these are whoppers. These pins, they're really thin, like my sister said, because you can sewing machine over them. But I tell you what, they stab me. They're not nice. They really do hurt me. Nasty things. Because they're so sharp. More sharp than the other pins. So I'm wondering where would I... Because I love that so much, I might not put that on there. I might use it on a different one. I don't know. There's no spot for it up there. I don't mind that. Anyway, I could change the colour. It could be the colour. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee. And grab my thread. Is there enough on there? It's a bit short. I think I'll get another one. I've got that much of this sort of thread that, honestly, if I throw away a little bit, it's no biggie. Okay, so I'll stitch these on quickly, won't take long. And then we're going to start thinking about this. Or maybe doing decorative stitches. Now remember, we have 5 weeks. So is this, what is this, the second or the third week? I can't remember. I think it's the third week. I've lost track. Or is it the second? I'll be looking that one up. So I'm just doing a little overcast stitch here to hold this down. Oh dear, no, I need to hold it there. So we've seen some amazing boxes. You guys are whizzes, absolute whizzes. So I still need to do something inside too. Don't know what I'm going to put on the bottom. I'll have to, I think we might think about that next week as well. And I was kind of fancying putting something in the lid, but not covering all the lid, but maybe having some things there to hold things. Is that a bit cryptic? I'm just trying to get past that lovely bit there. I've been wanting to put this somewhere for quite a few years now. I'm very happy for it to have a home. I'm going to have a bit of a stitchy day, I think, today, because I have to work on a few things that will be coming up later this year. That's a bit cryptic, isn't it? Yeah, I need to get those done so we can get the pictures done for those. Maybe you can guess. I am going to Australia, so what might I be doing when I go to Australia before Christmas with my sister and my mum? Let's see who guesses. And I'm very envious of my sister because she will be going to Fleur again next year. She's going to, not the 5-day course, but I think she's booked in for the 2-day or the 3-day. I'm not sure. I think it's the 2-day because she's working. I really wanted to go, but because I'll be in Australia until sometime in January, it would mean me having to literally come home for 4 weeks and turn around and come back. And it takes me such a long time, as you guys see, to get over the jet lag and get myself back into the swing of things, that I just can't physically do it, but I also can't really justify just having been there. And also we only go to Australia alternate Christmases, just because Steph's parents are here too, and they're getting on, and so we feel bad leaving them every Christmas. So we do one Christmas with my family and one Christmas here. And so I prefer to save my trip in the middle, because I like to go home once a year. I prefer to keep my trip between the 2 Christmases, for a bit further on down the track, whether it's the end of the year or early the next year sort of thing, like I did this time. So otherwise, I go for too long without seeing my mum and dad and my sister and my brothers and my nephews and whoever, and I don't like that. Got to spread it out. So it was with a heavy heart that I told Zoe at the green door that I would not be able to go. But there will be other opportunities. She has a lot of amazing people lined up. So just keep an eye on the green door. Even if you're a foreigner and you, not saying that you should go for that, but just say you had been planning a trip to Sydney or Melbourne or somewhere like that, and Zoe had something good on at the time, you could add in a lovely trip to Robertson and do one of her courses that she has. They're really amazing. Like my mum and my sister are fairly regular fixtures at her studio because it's so lovely, and just really incredible people coming down there to teach you their wonderful skills, share their wonderful skills, because obviously it's their skills, not ours. And I think you can always learn from other people. Doesn't matter how, experience and fabric. Everyone has a different way of seeing things and doing things. And you just pick up something. Whether you do exactly the same as them or you adapt it to your own style, you always learn something from someone. There you go. There's my little chitter-chatter for the day. Non-eventful trip to the post. Oh, yeah, no, nothing major happened at the post office. I mailed a few, and then I let a few people go in front, and then I mailed another few parcels today, so not too many huffy people. I did have a huffy man. He had literally been there for 4 minutes, and he was already huffing and puffing and looking over the counter to see how many, and I only had 5, and so that we take 7 minutes to do 5 probably. And so he'd come in, and we'd already done 2 or 3 of them, so there were only I think there were 3 left when he came in. So, and he was really agitated. I was thinking, you poor man. It was an elderly man. I thought, you poor man, you're so impatient, you must be miserable, because lines are everywhere, especially in Italy, and the lines in Italy are quite a thing. They they don't line up one behind each other. They sort of come in from the sides. It's like you've really got to be paying attention. It's a real battle for who was next sort of thing. In a lot of places you can get a number, but in the places that you can't, it's a fight. And there will be the person who will literally, you're about to, maybe the person behind the counters that just started talking to you, about to serve you, and someone will come in and step in between you and the counter, and they'll have their turn. It's really, really quite interesting. So yeah, lines Italian style. Fun. So yeah, when I go somewhere and I know that there can be a line, whether you go to the sort of delicatessen or something like that and you don't get a number, I'm really, really paying attention. I know who was there before me. I'm looking around and I'm like, if anyone, it happens to me all the time, if anyone tries to push, I'm like, no, it was my turn. Like this. So yeah, that's how it is here. Sometimes, like, in museums, to keep the lines under control, but they're usually foreigners who are much more orderly in the lining up. They have like the snaky things, like the what do you call them? Oh gosh, guys, I've been living here for too long. My sister teases me all the time that I can't remember words, and I might say them in a funny way, and she'll tease me, and I say, just let's not forget I've been living here now longer than I probably lived in Australia, because I left Australia when I was 21 or 22, I can't remember, 22, and no, 21, and then I only came back for 4 years in between, so you do the maths. I've been gone a while, and so yes, my English can be a little bit entertaining at times, as can my Italian. I always say I can't speak either anymore, because of course I'm here chatting to you guys. I'm not working in an office, because my Italian would probably improve if I worked in with Italians, but I don't. So I'm neither here nor there, which could be a good place to be, actually. I'm actually quite liking this now. It's really amazing how, you know, things take on a bit of a different look once they're all stitched down. Oh, I think Lulu has my threads, my one with the mixed threads. Let me just ask her. Lulu, do you have my box of mixed threads, please? She has now become an embroidery addict. Haven't you, Lulu? Are you an embroidery addict?
Yeah, I haven't been embroidering these past few days.
She's a bit busy at the moment, so she hasn't been able to go ahead. But she does enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to take my jumper off. I was cold before and now I'm hot. It's only a light one. Okay. I tell you what, when you allow yourself to sit and stitch, it is so enjoyable. I don't allow myself to do it very often, and that's so I do get a bit of anxiety about it, because you sort of need to sort of relax and just sort of let it happen, and if you don't have time, it's not fun, you know, like it does become stressful. So I'm going to have another sip of coffee. Now, thread painting is not always easy, and I don't want to fill it all in, so I sometimes don't know where I want to start, but what I am thinking is I might just highlight the yellow on the leaves. So that's the first thing I'm going to think of. And you don't have to, sometimes I follow the color scheme and sometimes I don't. I'm thinking I'm not going to put yellow there. I'm going to put some sort of green. I don't have a huge variety, but I think this is going to be good. And this is an Appleton. Is this an Appleton wool? No, this is one of those random wools that I got at the sewing basket that's got 3 strands that you separate. We don't have to separate them, but you can if you don't want too chunky stitching. I've got one of my threaders here. I need to tie something to that. Let's do that now while I'm thinking about it, because here's a piece of string. I lose them. And they are the best. I've got one attached to my needle book, and I've got a few flying around the place, and Lulu's taken one, so slowly they disappear. And then we gave one to Valentina when she was here, cute little Valentina who's 7, who we taught to embroider, and we created a monster. She just thought she'd died and gone to heaven. There we go. So with a string on it, I can, you know, I might have more chance of not losing it. I'll put that over there. And I'm going to grab a needle. I don't think I'm going to use the fluoro pink. What do you guys think? Take that off there. And, threader. Or do I want to use a brighter green? I don't know. We'll try. We'll see how we go. I could put it in a hoop. It's fairly rigid, so I probably don't need a hoop. I'm going to start in the middle here. Lulu's got my hoop. And I gave one to Valentina. I should have some others. I've got the square ones, but probably a round one would be better here. Although it's pretty, yeah, as I said, it's pretty stiff, so I don't think I need to worry about it. As I'm not sure about the rest of it, what I want to do, so I just start with, I always say start with what you know. And I mean, I'm meaning all around here too. Whoops. Okay. So what I might do is I won't finish all of the green. I'll do a little bit so I can get a feel for it, and then we'll make some other decisions while we're on camera. So apparently lots of you have told me you can zoom in on your devices, so I'm not going to zoom in because then I'm at great risk of going off camera, which seems to happen most times I'm just doing really, it's kind of like a satin stitch, but it's a messy sort of loose satin stitch. I'm not trying to be neat. I'm making my stitches different lengths. Don't want to unthread. And it could be that when I get the green on, I might think, oh, I need to do all of it. But I don't think I want to do all of it because the fabric is very pretty and I think ideal for thread painting. Now, I'm just going to jump over here and do this one. I'm not even going to end it. If you wanted to be all neat, you could, oh, I don't have many stitches there, but you could slide through your stitches just so you don't have like a big loopy doopy thing like that behind. Aren't we lucky? I mean, what a wonderful hobby really to have, isn't it? We're so lucky. So it really is enjoyable. I mean, it's obviously not enjoyable for everybody, but if you like doing this sort of thing, I think we're lucky. Okay, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I might come in and do the darker bits as well. So I'll finish off this thread and then we'll do the darker bits and then we'll look at something else to do as well. Just so you can see a bit of the decision making process. Obviously I'll finish that off camera because it takes a while to do the thread painting, but I'm pretty happy with that. So let's come in, we'll come down and do this one over here. I'm so in love with this little posy of flowers. Is it a posy? I think this too, like, not, you know, there are some people that are really amazing at drawing and stuff like that. I'm not really amazing at drawing. I could probably draw the outline and then figure it out and just sort of, and then I would color it in with the threads. And that, I used to do oil painting. I wasn't very good at it, but I liked it. I did paint some things that I do, like my mum has them. I love painting flowers, of course. Surprise, surprise. And there was, I can't remember her name. I've still got her book because I love it. Maybe I'll share it with you one day. I don't know whether you'd be able to buy it anymore. I was able to buy it in the early 2000s when I was living in Sydney. She is a deceased artist from Melbourne, and oh my gosh, did she paint the most beautiful flowers. I must remember to share that with you. And I would just because I was learning, I was trying to learn from her book, I would even just maybe oil paint just a little piece of one of her paintings sort of thing. And why did I start talking about that? Oh, to be able to rewind and know what I was talking about. Oh, guys, it's gone out of my head. This is terrible. So I was talking about the painting. I used to do the oil painting. Oh, I know what I was saying. Yeah, so I'm not like a, like if I were to do a sketch, I'll put that aside because I'll need that later on. If I were to do a sketch or something, it would be just an outline, vague outline. And when I was painting, I just put like oval, like the flowers, the oval over here, and do a vague shape of the vase or whatever. And then I would color it in with the paint, and I would get all my detail happening with the paint, but I wouldn't draw the detail. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's the same with embroidery. Like I'll just do a vague outline, but not color it all in because I don't consider myself a great drawer. And yeah, so I think, if you have a fabric with a lovely floral, it's a nice way to give yourself a base to work on, like I did with our last project where I did it on the bag, which I just love. I've loved everything. This one I'm just struggling with more the stitchery part. I really enjoyed covering the box, but I was just not sure about what I wanted to do on top. But I may end up, I'm liking this so far, so if I don't ruin it, because I could ruin it, will end up being, I'll end up being happy with it. So we'll see how I go. I did consider I might like to put beads on this, but actually I don't, because I'm probably going to stack my boxes on top of each other over on my table over here to my left, and I don't want bobbly beads or buttons on it, because I want them to be able to stack on top of each other, because I'm going to use them to house stitchy things. I always need more storage, honestly, because the stuff grows. It just seems to grow. It just seems to come out of the holes and grow. I'm a collector and hoarder. So yeah, back to the thread painting. I'm choosing in this case with the leaves to do my lightest and darkest bits. The light reflecting from my window is just causing me a bit of grief. There we go. And that's not to say when I've done little bits of details on the flowers that I might think, oh, I need to do all the leaves. You know, you can change your mind, but just start off with, you know, less, and then you can come back and add more, is what I think. I'm just going to put a stitch there. And I'm pretty much following, you know, the design on the fabric. I'm not straying from it too much, if at all. I'm just going to jump down here, which not ideal, but it's all going to be glued down onto the lid, so it doesn't really matter. I think maybe I got stumped because I was so inspired by Anne Kelly. I was thinking I was going to do an Anne Kelly-esque thing minus the machine stitching and over the top, and then I don't know, I sort of was looking and I really wasn't coming to me, and I'm not going to copy. So then I just ended up doing my own thing, which was different to what I had thought I was going to be doing. And so that's what kind of threw me, I think. Oh, I'm really liking it so far. It is a glorious set of flowers here. It was from a vintage French fabric from the mid-1900s, I think. I tell you what, sometimes they are the mid-1900s, like the English and the French fabrics with the flowers. They're some of my favorites, honestly. If I'm honest, like I did from a French seller that I know lots of people buy from her. She's lots of you would know. I can't remember her name. She sells to everybody. She sells to Ruby and Pearl, and they all buy the wallpapers and stuff. And actually, she was sharing some of the wallpapers the other day. They're mid-1900s, so I don't know about the copyright on them. But anyway, I had bought some fabrics from her that are super old. But honestly, I mean, they're very pretty. They're faded and everything. But some of the most glorious fabrics, I think, are 1940s, 1950s, 1960s. I mean, these florals are just lovely. Really, really nice. And really nice for what we like to do for the stitchery. In fact, I don't, you know, unless I see something that I have to have or for a really good price, I don't buy the really old things. Also because they're expensive, and then you kind of hoard them because they're really old, and then you really need to think of somewhere special to put them. Whereas these ones, they're not cheap, but they're full of possibilities. So that gives you the idea of that. And I'll just unthread. There's not much left on here, so I think that'll be, or maybe I should just do another little bit. Just a minute, let me see. So I don't like wasting my threads because I don't buy them here, you know. I buy them when I go home. I don't find these nice. I mean, this is a gum nut. This is an Australian brand. It's actually, oh no, it might not be. Yeah, it's very slightly variegated, very slightly. You can hardly see it. And and it's just a lovely embroidery wool. So I really love it. I don't like to waste it. So I'll use it every bit until I can use it no more. Oops, I've gone in through the knot. I can't stand it when I do that. Oh, now I see, look at that. To pull it out, pull the knot up. That's not the knot. Got it. Okay. Then pull that, and then this. Okay. Maybe have a little bit coming up here, even though I can't quite see there. Excuse me. Whoops. Oh, it unthreaded. That's a bit of an annoyance, isn't it? See, I couldn't see my threader, but I saw the string and I knew where it was. Where was I going with this piece? Up there? Maybe. Okay, I'm going to end that off. It's becoming a little bit too short even for me. It actually, you know, you just do a little kind of knot, but because we're gluing it onto the thing, nothing's going to come undone. Well, it shouldn't, because it's glued. You could leave it a bit longer, as long as your, you know, fabric, like over here, is a bit thin. So if I were embroidering over here, I wouldn't be leaving long tails that would be poking out. Okay, what can we look at next? So I could choose to do the lighter tone and the darker tone, or I could do the intermediate tone. I often start with do the intermediate tone and then decide, and because I could do the intermediate tone and the darker tone. I think I'll do that. So I don't know whether I've got the right color here. That's a bit, it is quite bright, that one. I don't know if I want to use that one. I might have to hop up. That's very pale. I don't want to go that pale. I might have done the lighter tone in that, but I'm not doing the lighter tone. I could do this one for the intermediate tone and then get a darker pinky red. I think I'll do that. So I'm kind of changing the color because these are a bit more salmony. This is a bit more pink. I might use, let's try 2 strands. Don't be afraid to experiment too with how many strands are you going to use. I'm going to make it thicker with 2 strands, and that's why we have our threader here, because it just makes life that much easier. Another, that's the mohair that we got from the Crewel Goblein. Last time I was there, she still had them in packs, color coordinated packs that she was selling out of them because they're discontinued colors. Okay, so yeah, if you're purchasing that sort of discontinued colors, you know, if you've got it, like if you're doing a cross stitch sort of thing and you need a certain amount of colors, you wouldn't be buying discontinued colors if you're following a chart. Oh, my knot came out. Now I'm going through several layers here, so that's why I might struggle a little bit with the 2 strands to pull it through. So yeah, you make these decisions. You decide, am I going to do the lighter tones or am I going to work with the mid-tone, and then decide if I want to put the darker or the lighter. And that's for this flower. I might decide to do something different on the next flower. And I'm just going to Oh, hard work. Now there are many ways you can fill in the flowers. You could do weaving, but I'm just going to do a very random satin stitch. Oh, that makes life easier, but you just it takes longer because you've got to stop and start all the time. I'm liking it so far. Oh, and you can hear it pulling through, can't you? But I am a very determined person, if you didn't realize that. One thing, I went, when I finished school, after my first year of university, with my best friend, we had a trip. I'd been working and saving, and she was working. She did her studies, she started them a bit later. And we went to Europe, and she said to me after a few weeks with me, she said, you know, you're very quiet and very meek and mild, but boy, are you determined. You surprised me. And I said, oh, well, there you go. Looks can be deceiving. Now, what I might do with this, because what I'm finding, because I've chosen this colour, is that it's all going to be very, the dark colours are not standing out so much. And as I thought I might when I first started putting the colour in, I am going to choose a raspberry red, I think. Methinks, or I might even use this red. I'll see, like that. And I'm going to go in the darker bits and make them stand out more. There's really no right or wrong. It's just do what you like. Whoops. Now, having to go through this, having to struggle pulling the thread through is, oh, I came up the same hole, is slowing me down a bit. Not that it's a race. I might pop up here now. Now they're getting in my way. Now, it can be a little bit tiring too when you're struggling to pull it through the fabric. So you might have to stop and move on to something else midway. It's very personal what you decide you're going to embroider and leave. I want to come up and do this little bit over here, and I want to do those. Actually, I might come in and I might do those bits in a slightly lighter pink, even though it's a similar colour in the fabric. I'm going to do it in a different colour. I'm going to add another shade. And what I'll do with that red, because it's quite strong, is I will, actually I have that colour's probably more the colour I was thinking, that one. I'll use that one, not that deep wool. I might use 2 strands of that because that's thinner than this wool, otherwise it'll be swallowed up. But I also like mixing up all the different threads. So my hands are getting a bit tired. I'm not going to do like a super long stitch like that because it'll just sort of lift. So I'll do 2 shorter stitches. Come up there and then come down to there. Now I'm really going through the layers. When I get to here, I'm going through 3 layers. Trying to think about also the direction of the petals. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just plop that over there because I just wanted to show you the other colours. Not looking like much yet. Just don't be judgy of yourself until you get it happening. I want 2, so we'll just cut another one a similar length. This is interesting, this thread. It goes thick and thin. I can't remember where. I think I might have bought it from Steph Francis. It goes thick and thin. Okay, I need a needle. Will I be able to get it in this one? I don't think so. My needles are all over the place. You're probably like, use your threader, you silly woman. I got it. So I want to come in here. I've got a few loopy stitches there, but anyway. Oh gosh, can't get that through there. You would have thought I could, it's thinner. Maybe not quite up there, down here. Yep, a good set of pliers is kind of, if you want to use all the threads and, oh, I came up where I went down. If you want to use all the thicker threads, you need a good threader and a good set of pliers, because sometimes you just can't get through your fabrics. There we go. And I have been known to break needles before. Will you stop that? It's the tails, they're coming through. I don't want that. Now to amalgamate these in, I don't know if you can, I'm getting distracted by the reflection from the window, but you kind of got to come into your, it's come up again. This is ridiculous. Annoying knot. You sort of stitch into your other stitches. I'm just going to come into them. And then it will all start to come together the more you put on. I cannot see for looking, because it's reflecting on my fabric and I can't see the change in the colours, so I'll just make it up. I'd have a bit of a stitch in there. See how I'm coming down into it? Sort of helps the threads blend into one another. Come up into here. I may put little French knots in there where it's really dark. That's the other one. I don't want to mess with that. So it's looking a bit of a mess at the moment, but it'll get there. stitches going in every direction. I just wanted to show you what I'm planning on doing. Yeah, I'm going to come in here a little bit, and then I'll do it on probably all of the flowers, and then in these ones I think I'm going to do the blue flowers. Don't know whether I'll just put a few stitches in them. And what would I use? I don't know, because this has only got a small amount of my threads. This box, I might find one in another box, but some sort of variegated thread with blue and purple. I know I've got them in my other box, and I'll just do a couple of stitches. I think I won't embroider the whole thing, and this will start. I need to do all of the bits on these too, and I'll embroider the yellow flowers. There's only those, and then maybe a few of those little bits here and there. They look like little buds sort of thing, so I'll do those. So I'm going to go ahead and try and get a bit more of that done. It takes a while to show you, and then next week, and then there's going to be other stitching on here, so we need to do that as well. So I need to get cracking, and then because then there's also inside to finish as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, and have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.